Hello everyone, welcome to day 149 of playing chess every day for you. Let's find the game. We're starting as white. Same move as always, e4. We can go straight into the Italian. Knight comes up. If I play d4 and the knight goes here, I actually have a tactic. Could strike the center right now, but I think it's best just to play d3 here. It's probably best to play b4 next, kicking the bishop away. b4 also stops the knight from coming in. So I'll go for b4. My plan is simply just to bring my queen up to target this. My opponent hasn't actually played d6 yet, so queen to b3 could be very good for me. The bishop has to leave. It just goes back one square. I think now I can bring my queen b3. Seems like a good move. If they play d5 to defend, they just castle, which is reasonable. Sacrificing this bishop long term is a good move, but I just have no pieces on that side of the board, so I won't go for that at the moment. I can't really take. I could just start developing my knight. If I play b5, the knight just comes in with the fork, so it's a terrible move. I think I'll play a4, a5. I'll play a4, just taking more space. So now if I go to kick the bishop, it just goes back. But then I have a lot of space, which I'm happy about. And if I play this move, if I play b5, the knight can come in with the fork, but also I'd have to recapture with the bishop, which is very annoying. I could just strike the center now, but that would undefend this. So I think either developing the knight or castling is good now. I could of course just play a5 now. I think I'll play a5 and then go to castle. Just castle. I can bring my rook to the center and then play d4. I think I'll just bring my rook to the center. I can even go and trade this bishop off if I'd like to. So d4 has two defenders but three attackers on it, so d4 isn't possible right now. I think I'll try to trade this bishop off. It would be good for my position because then I think I'd be able to play d4. That's a strange bishop move. If I take the rook, the knight can recapture, but if I take the rook just takes. If I take the bishop, the rook has to take. I'm not sure why my opponent's developing that way. I wish I had the tactic of taking the pawn here, but there's nothing here. If I don't take the bishop, I think I'll just take the bishop just to simplify. And then also, I'll take the bishops off the board. The knight takes. I can play d4 now. This is defended. If I play d4 and we just take in the center, I think it's good. This is defended. I could recapture the knight. Taking with the pawn lets me develop my knight though, towards the center. Taking with the knight, there aren't really any good squares for my knight at the moment, so I think I'll just take with the pawn and then develop my knight. This knight can also never develop to c6 because it would walk into a fork. I did miss that there are two attackers on this pawn now. The rook takes. I don't have to take the rook, but if I don't, I think I lose this. Although I can just develop my... At the moment, I can come into queen... No, not possible at the moment, but I think after this trade I can come in with my queen here to attack this. Seems quite good. I do need to be careful of back rank problems. I'm forking here, but I think the knight doesn't have many great squares. If it goes back, I take here. This is also defended twice. The knight goes back. I probably shouldn't be trading, but if I don't trade, it will weaken my structure. I could just take this free pawn, but then if this rook move comes, it would actually hang this, so I could take the knight. But if I take the knight, the queen takes, and my back rank is not protected. I'll take the free pawn. If the rook slides over, I take the knight, so the rook's pinned to the knight at the moment. My knight's defended, and I can start bringing my other knight into the game. And same with my rook. Knight takes, I just take back. I don't want to take and allow my opponent to develop. The knight develops, so I can't play knight to c3 now, which I really wanted to do. I could take now, but there's no sense in that at the moment. I can develop my knight to d2. I'm also adding a defender to this. I still don't want to take the knight because I need to be careful of not getting my queen trapped here, but I always have this square. I don't have any counterattacks on the queen, can't take the rook or the pawn, and I also can't take the knight. If I could move here, I'd attack the rook, but there's this. Queen d5 is the best move here and the only move. And I have to force my queen away. I'm still defending everything. Here if the queen takes, I need to be careful. My queen can be kicked around a lot, so I have to be careful of my moves, but for now it's okay. I also can't play my queen here if the f-pawn ever moved, because that'll be a tactic of my rook hanging. The queen slides over. I mean, I think I have this rook move. Rook e1, the queen cannot take, because I just take. Rook e1, the knight can't take. Well, rook e1, if the knight takes... Yeah, rook e1 is a huge blunder. I think if I played rook e1, the knight taking would be a check. But then I'd be able to take with the other knight. That's so dangerous. Rook e1 is such a dangerous move. Knight takes, I have to take with the knight to defend my own rook. Rook e1, queen takes. I just take. That's a blunder. Rook e1 threatens a check on the back rank. And then I'd have this check. I'll play rook e1 here. It does seem like a blunder, but I'm quite sure it's safe. But if the knight takes, I have to recapture with the knight. And I have to be very careful. The queen just slides over. So now I could take this. Could take the knight, which is a free pawn. Seems like a free pawn, which I'll take. But then I do hang this pawn. If I take and the knight takes, I'd have this move, which is a skewer. If I take knight takes, I have this skewer. And I don't know how they defend the knight. I think they can't defend the knight, so I'll actually take. If the knight takes, it walks into the skewer. Knight takes, I have this move, which I'll play instantly. The knight leaves, which hangs the rook, which I will gladly take. And my opponent resigns. Wow, I'm very happy with this win. Let's look at this game. I played with a 79.9, my opponent with a 72.8. I played like a 1550, my opponent like a 1200. I had no blunders, but I had 2 misses and 1 mistake. So let's look at this game. My opponent had 2 blunders. We played Italian, which is the opening that I'm best at. I've played it so many times. It's by far my most popular opening. Queen b4 is good, or queen b3 is good, but a4 is actually better to take space away. a5 is good, just take space away. Rook over is good, but it's actually best to just go for the bishop trade, because then I'd have a very powerful center with 2 pawns and a knight supporting it. So it's actually good to trade off this bishop with the pawn. And so here I have a fork, and I don't see the fork. Oh wow. When I saw this move, rook to e8, I did see that my bishop can take. But I don't know how my opponent missed that my queen supports the bishop. So this would put me in a great position. King h7 is the best move. Just stepping to safety. And then I'd win material, so that's an enormous blunder for my opponent. That's a huge blunder which I somehow missed. I did think this was a bad move, but it's a terrible miss from me. It's a huge blunder for my opponent as well. I just take the bishops off the board. And d4 was a bad move, which I need to start calculating my moves more, because if the pawn takes, I have to take with the knight, because if I don't, this will have 2 attackers on it. I had to play knight to d2 first to defend this. Taking the rook is actually wrong. I should just develop my knight with tempo, which is okay. My rook's protected. And this move, queen d5, was actually a bad move, because it looks like a fork. The best move for my opponent is to just defend the knight with their queen and give up this pawn. They just move away instead. I don't have to take her, and because that would activate the queen and force a trade, because my back rank would be weak. And knight to b5 is a terrible move, because it gives me just development. It's a weak move, and that's what happens. I just develop towards the center. This move just loses a tempo, according to the computer. The queen d5 is the best move. This position is completely equal. I do have rook e1 here. Rook e1 is a good move here. I do see this tactic here, that because the queen undefends the knight, I can win a pawn. And I do give up this pawn, but then... Wow, my pawn actually couldn't recapture, because that would walk into this. Really? I shouldn't have gone for queen e3, I should have gone for knight e4. And I don't understand the idea of knight to e4 at all. What does knight to e4 do? I am threatening a huge fork. Knight to e4 is a big threat. So I give up the pawn, but knight to e4 threatens knight f6, which would win me the game absolutely, because I'd win the queen. This would also be pinned, so they couldn't even recapture the knight. That's not what I go for though. I go for queen e3, trying to skewer the knight into the rook. And my opponent actually had a move that defends everything here. And that move would have been, I think, c5. And c5 was the move that defends the knight and cuts off the queen. So if I took here, they could recapture. And then the knight would be completely fine, and so would be the rook. But my opponent just moves the knight away to e6. They missed c5, and I pick up the rook, and my opponent resigns. So I'll take the win. Played quite well this game. I played with an accuracy of 80. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.